normal charging slash fully charged. But you can come up here and see, so this is your generator.
Okay.
And then it's going here, but also bypassing to run your house. So it's doing two things at once. It's charging your batteries, but also sending power to your panel.
Okay. So hey everyone, Graham from Stronghold. It's me again. And you know what that means? It's Sunday, so let's get going with this week's video. I just wanted to give a huge shout out to all my new subscribers. I see you, and thank you very much for subscribing to our channel. The other thing I wanted to mention is, please, let me know what you want to see or what I can do better. There's so many things I could cover, from how to build, how it's going, our general lifestyle, what our plans are. I mean, there's endless possibilities. I'm starting to really understand what I enjoy and what I can share and what I think people would like. But if there's something that I've talked about or haven't talked about that you'd like to hear, definitely let me know, because it's going to help shape this channel in a way that we all can enjoy. There's little Lulu. Every time I pull in the driveway, she comes out and she's oinking. Happy to see us. So there's not a whole lot of maintenance you need to do with your generator, but there's two main important things that you really got to remember. Number one is you have to make sure that the gas you're putting in is put through a strainer. It's got to be ultra clean gas. You do not want to get any little particles of dirt or bark or anything in your gas, because that'll build up inside the little engine there, and that'll cause some problems. So that's number one. Make sure your gas is super clean. You could even have like a cheesecloth on the end of your gas tank, so when you're pouring it in, you make sure it's strained for a second or third time. Inside the lid of this generator, there's a really fine mesh little thing that the gas goes through, so it's always getting strained when it goes in. The second thing you need to check with these generators is that there's oil. So this has been running for about a month. I checked it within the first week to make sure that the oil is staying and there's no leak, so it should be good for a while. We've been running this thing for almost every day for a month or two now, so I check it again now. The oil level seems to be good. It's a little bit low, so I'll add some, but those are the two main things you want to look out for. This is the oil right here, and I had my wife turn this thing off about an hour ago so it can cool down and all the oil can settle to the bottom, so we can get a true readout on where the oil is. And yeah, oh, and also while I was in here, I checked the air filter. It's in here. It's nice and clean as well, so everything's looking good. I'll show you that little strainer. So this little cup in here, so make sure your generator has one of these. You do not want to put gas directly in. Actually, you can see little particulates in there. That's exactly what I'm talking about. So that just sits in there. There you go.
You did?
What else did you do?
Well, we put some hay in it to help it break down.
Oh, perfect.
And we gave Lulu food.
No, we didn't.
Yes, we did.
No, we didn't.
Attention. Okay, when he said take turns, if you ask one.
Okay, never mind, Kai. I forgot that you never get rid of anything.
Yeah, on the video, everyone says. So Lulu's been happy her first couple nights, but I wanted to add a little bit more insulation to cover up the little hole in the wall. Pigs, they want to be comfortable just like us, so I didn't want any cross breeze in there, so I had some of this double bubble they call it, this insulation I used in the dome. I had some left over, so I put some along the ceiling, along some of the walls to keep the draft out for her so she'd be a bit more comfortable. There we go. So now the wind is blocked even more from getting in her little entryway, and when Lou wants to come in and out, she can just plow right through there. What do you think, Opal? Good.
I guess she's taking it out. She's trying to.
Lou.
Come on out! Wow, there.
Alright, we're gonna try to send it this way.
Hey.
So there you go. That's a basic compost bin. We'll basically put our compost in here and make sure there's lots of hay on either side, and that's pretty much it. Should be good.
Little Lulu. The hair, that's the biggest difference between dogs, is their hair is so wiry.
Yes. And they all have like this funny mohawk thing.
Ooh. Oh, are you licking?
Oh, new smells.
Smell like doggy.
Okay, so we're getting our batteries installed today. Gable should be coming down the road in a second. I'm waiting for you, Gable. Gotta wet the whistle. Hey everybody, I'm here with Gable, our good friend, my brother-in-law, and Red Steel electrician. And
Hello.
just want to take a minute while he's here to give you guys a rundown of our new system and the batteries that he installed, and answer some questions that everyone's probably going to have. So let's go. Okay, so we are in the utility room with Gable. This is our new setup. So Gable, can you just give us a quick rundown of what we are looking at right now? Maybe, you know, starting with the batteries, and just break this down for us a little bit.
Yeah, so this is a 48 volt system. Right here we have two 48 volt 50 amp hour batteries. So I have them wired in parallel here. In doing that, it doubles the amperage.
Okay.
And to get your wattage, you would times your 48 volts by 100. So it's like 4,800 watts of storage. And when you think of watts, you can kind of think of like that's 4,800 watts per hour. So right now, it just goes to here, and this is like the brains of the whole operation. We have a wire going down the floor that goes to the generator. So underneath the dome there is a generator plug. The generator cord plugs into there and goes into the generator. Right now we don't have it running because we're just running strictly off the batteries, but when we do go to charge them, we turn the generator on and it'll automatically detect that the generator is on, and this symbol will come on. It kind of is called utility, So right now, this is saying we have battery going to the load.
Okay, so just to reiterate that, so you're saying that this is our main trunk cable. So when I turn the generator on, the power is coming from the generator. It's coming through here
Into here.
into our inverter charger.
Yep.
The inverter charger has the smart, what do you like the?
It's a computer.
It's
like
a computer system inside of it that changes it from DC to AC.
Yeah, there would be a transformer in here.
Okay, so that's all located inside of here. After it's done changing it, it leaves this and from here
Yep.
and goes into our main panel.
And this powers your house. And
Okay.
so when you're charging the batteries with the generator on, it'll also still power your house. So it has a bypass in it, so it'll send power to the batteries, but also continue to send power to your panel. So with the generator going, we actually did a test. I turned the main breaker off on this panel, and then the load went to 0. So that is actually true. It's using about 25% of your available load right now just to run. We have the dehumidifier running and the fridge and some lights.
So while the generator is running, it's going to charge the batteries, and when the batteries are full, what happens?
Yeah, so when the batteries are full, these flashing green lights will turn to flashing red, and it has a smart technology, so it will stop charging the batteries and it'll switch. It'll stop it in here, and then you'll hear a beep, and and you have it on your phone that it's set at 58 volts. So at 58 volts, that's the shut-off point. So then you can go out and shut off your generator.
So with a system like this, right now, all we have is a generator. In the future, if we wanted to add solar panels to our system, can we do that with a system like this?
Totally. That's why we went with this solar inverter charger.
That's what this...
In the bottom here, there's actually some PV. That's where your solar wires would go.
Oh, okay, right there.
So once you get the solar panels, we could hook them up. We could hook them into here. So in the daytime, there's actually a solar, it's not lit up, but you might be able to see it. There's a solar panel
Yep,
icon
you can see it
there. It'll light up once it's the daytime, the panels are getting sunlight. So you could charge your batteries through the day with that, and say it was a cloudy day and you want to top off your batteries before bed, you could turn on that generator and it will automatically detect the generator and switch over from solar to do generator charging. Then you have the batteries topped up before bed, and then you shut off the generator. It'll automatically switch it back over to batteries feeding your system. So it's a very smart, expandable system. So a lot of people are doing like 12 volt, 24 volt systems. 48 volt is like the newer voltage for a lot of these systems, and it seems like a lot of off-grids are going this way because you can actually reduce your wire size by increasing the voltage.
Okay.
So if we had a 12 volt system here, these wires would have to be a lot bigger, and it just adds to the cost. And a 48 volt system is a bit more efficient than the 12 volt and 24 volt. And this was really appealing because it had the generator charging, the solar charging, and the battery feeding. And you could even use this, in the house or whatever. It doesn't have to be a generator. Just anything that is producing AC power, it will detect this.
So then these batteries, what sort of maintenance is there with a battery like this? And can you kind of just explain, is there any sort of preventative maintenance? What's so great about these batteries? Like, why did you you know, why did we go with these compared to maybe a different style of battery?
Yeah, so these are smart batteries. Pretty much these are just the, you know, they're just encased. And actually in the bottom of each one, there's a heating pad. So if it drops below a certain temperature, it'll actually self-heat the battery, because but you don't want the batteries to go below freezing. And on the same note, they also will automatically shut themselves off if they drop below a certain temperature. So if that heater isn't able to keep up, then they will automatically protect themselves and shut themselves off and stop discharging. To me, these are great for people that, like, you don't have to fill them with electrolytes, with like other floating batteries and stuff. Like, it's very minimal maintenance.
So with the older style batteries, you would have to sometimes top them up with saline water or something like that, right?
Yeah.
So these, there's no topping them up. Is really, as long as they're not getting too cold or way too hot, they should be relatively safe.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, and they have, like, you know, automatic detections of overload and all that stuff. They're very smart. There's probably, you know, control boards, most definitely control boards. You have it set up on your phone that you can just, there's a Bluetooth module that's connected to the inverter charger.
Yeah, and that's actually right here. Little Bluetooth module. In the app, it's actually telling us the temperature of the batteries, literally everything. So anything that I had questions about, it's right there on the app, which makes it super, super easy. So can we add more batteries in the future?
That's the beauty of it. You can just literally, I would just put, if we wanted to add another battery, just add one here, take another
Just tie it
wire,
in.
boom, boom, positive, negative, and that's,
Wow.
then you would have another 50 amps, so then you would have 150 amps of amp hour storage. These also have, like, they're smart, right? So they know how to balance the load on when they're discharging. So they're both discharging at the same rate.
Okay.
And that's a lot of what batteries are about. They want to discharge at the same rate, and then you can, so you're not discharging one faster than the other, because then that battery will wear out faster. There is some safety stuff in here.
So what kind of,
So there's all the smart stuff has, like, safety overloads and stuff, but we also have a mechanical safety, which is here. So this is a 100 amp fuse. So say one of these batteries or both of the batteries, they, you know, maybe they shorted out inside or something, some manufacturer error. This will detect a short, because it'll send more than 100 amps through, and that would ruin your system. But there's a piece of metal in there that would break.
Okay.
So it's just like a circuit breaker,
Right.
but it's to protect your system. So if that ever breaks, then we know there's something going on with probably the batteries or the inverter charger. Something shorted out.
We're just using power as normal. These get to their lowest point and they need to be charged. What do I do?
Get out there and start the generator back up.
So there's not a whole lot of worry then of, you know, flicking a switch and changing things over. If we're using power and, you know, the beep goes off, the batteries are getting low, I can simply go out, start the generator, and the power will go through the inverter, and the inverter computer will basically do the hard work.
You literally just go turn the generator on and it's all taken care of thanks to the computer. Definitely the biggest cost is the batteries.
The batteries. Yeah.
And this was also, like, a decent price, but it just makes everything, like, automatic. You don't have to think about it.
Right.
All you have to think about is turning on that generator and turning it off.
So I know we don't have receipts here and all that, but can you just, from your memory, just give us sort of a really basic breakdown of, like, the cost of what we're looking at here?
Probably close to $2,000. So this was probably like $1,500, we'll say.
Right.
And then I got the wire and stuff, so
The wire
you know,
and all
a
that.
few $100s, and this disconnect or fuse. solar, the wiring and stuff, and the panel. Panels are really hard to get right now and expensive. So that's the benefit of if you know an electrician.
Because this is used, right?
This is used.
This came from a job.
This was free because people get panel upgrades and things, and oftentimes they don't want the panels. So a lot of times they'll just be chucking it out. So I always grab a panel if they don't want it.
Right.
Because they're, especially with COVID and stuff, like these went up through the roof. But if you know someone, ask around. It's definitely worth it. Like this panel would probably be close to $1,000, I'd say.
Wow, really? Just for the panel?
Yeah.
So,
and then the breakers and stuff are expensive as well. So breakers, $100 a breaker.
So I guess the word of wisdom here is don't necessarily rush into this.
Yeah, if you
can
find, see with this wire here, this was from
trunk cable,
an old job, like an old job, and we were ripping out old wire, and I only have certain lengths of it, but a lot of times I'll just try to make it work, and it really saves money.
What's the ideal placement for a system like this to make sure that it's, I don't know, accessible and safe? Yeah.
Yeah, so
just any utility room is fine, somewhere that's going to stay warm and above freezing?
Yeah. You want to have it in a well ventilated area.
Okay.
And this is
fun.
Very,
yeah, there's a big
the
opening right here. Yeah.
And the stairway's open. You want to make sure it's dry because it has so much technology in it. It's not rated for any outdoor use. You want to make sure that stays dry. So this is a dry area, and that's why we kind of chose this wall. You just make sure there's space in between here. You want there's fans on each side that keeps the inverter charger.
Oh, on both sides,
cool.
eh?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, so a little bit of air movement.
In air one side, blows it down, and actually in the bottom, it blows out the bottom. So it sucks it in each side. You can feel it there, actually.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, it looks like like same thing you have on your computer.
Yeah. So once exactly. This thing will get revving. Like right now, it's pretty quiet because it's not really running much. But when you charge the batteries, it's doing a lot. It's sending power to the batteries and also powering the panel. So this thing, the fans go full tilt.
You did a beautiful job here.
Thank you.
It looks absolutely fantastic, and we are very, very grateful for you, Gable. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Greg.
And yeah, it looks absolutely beautiful in here.
I just find it a lot easier if you do have problems or something with troubleshooting and just making sure nothing's moving around and chafing, the wire and things like that.
Right.
And it just makes it kind of like you can follow the wires and kind of see what you're.
Yeah, it looks like a diagram.
Yeah.
Like it seems like something I could figure out if something went wrong. I could just follow these wires even. Wow.
I'm happy how it turned out.
So am I.
First off-grid system that I've wired up, and I'm really, really thankful for the opportunity, Graham.
Yeah, thank you. Cool.
I want to go to change that to. No, that's how many you have stored right now. So that'll slowly go down. Sometimes it even goes back up a little bit as it's going.
A big part of this YouTube channel is I want to be as transparent as possible about what it's really like to live inside of a geodesic dome. And the reality is, in the winter, we have one major issue, and that's condensation. Condensation will always occur when you have something warm and something cold touching on the same material on different sides. In my construction background, I know that really the only way to stop this condensation from occurring is I need to make a thermal break. I need to put at least 1 inch of styrofoam or some sort of foam, spray foam, so that the inside heat is not touching that material that is cold. The problem is, we already have all this insulation up. We have all of our stuff in the dome. Now, putting up some styrofoam panels, that's an option, but let me tell you, it is going to be incredibly difficult. One other note I want to make about the condensation is the temperature outside right now. I've noticed that the colder it gets, the worse the condensation is. Currently, we're sitting around -10. It goes around -5 to -10, -12 at night with the wind chill. So it's quite cold out. The warmer it is outside, the less condensation we have. So right now we are in the dead of winter, which means the most condensation we are going to get is right now. So this was a big week for us. This was our first official week living inside the dome. I think like any move, it's hard. It's hard getting new routines, new habits. There's new sounds, and it's just a new environment. And the kids were very excited, and they still are, and they're loving it, by the way. The loft is super warm, and they're having a great sleep every night. So that's a really big thing for us. One of the biggest adjustments for me and Tessa is having to keep this fire going. We have a newborn baby, little Art, and he's so sweet. We're up with him, mostly Tessa, a lot already in the nighttime. So adding this other task we have to do, stoking the fire, it's a bit tough. But you know, that's what homesteading is. It's a bit tough, and it pays you in different ways. So we're fine with it. Now, we've done as much planning as we thought was necessary. We didn't just jump into this because, well, we have a family. We have kids, cats, and ourselves. We want to be comfortable, and we want to make sure that everyone's happy. So definitely didn't want to just jump into anything. But at the same time, you can't think of everything. And to just sit around and theorize what it's going to be like forever, it means you're never going to get in. So doing what we can until the point where we felt relatively comfortable was important to us. And then it was really important to just get in there and see what else we needed to do. Now, I'm definitely glad that we waited as long as we did. We've had talks, you know, multiple times for a month or two leading up to when we actually moved in, deciding and debating, should we move in now? Should we wait? And looking back, I'm really glad that we did wait until now to move in, because when you move into somewhere and all your stuff is there, it's almost impossible to keep working away at stuff. And I definitely wanted to make sure that any dusty, dirty work was long finished before we moved in. And so far, so good. Now, living this life now, there is a lot of time we have to use in the day and a lot of energy just to do the basic stuff you need to live. Keeping the fire going, making sure the power's all good, the animals are good, bringing in firewood, dealing with water, and getting all this, you know, getting our water up there and sorted out every day. Not to mention the normal stuff that parents have to deal with: cooking, cleaning, looking after kids. If I was to go back in time, I probably wouldn't change much. I'd probably still move in right when we did. The only thing I would change is the thermal break on the outside of the dome so that we don't have so much condensation. But that's pretty much it. Hey, Lulu. Want some food? We'll give you an extra little snack today because it's cold. Help you stay warm. Let's go to the food. Come on. Come on. Where's your bowl, Lulu? Where's your bowl? So Lulu managed to put her bowl outside somehow. Here you go. She knows she's got to eat inside here. Here you go, Lulu. Happy girl. Water keeps freezing. So that's one of the chores we got to do here, is make sure the water's good. It's actually looking real good right now. So me and my wife decided we're going to do a quick upgrade in the loft. What I mean by that is the current boards that are up there, there's small cracks in between the boards. That's all fine. It's really no issue. The only thing that it's doing is it's allowing a little bit of light, more than we'd like, to go up to the loft. And at bedtime, our kids are wild. So we want to make sure it's dark as possible up there. So I went to Fraser's and I got a few sheets of this Meranti board. And I'm just going to install this on the back side of the loft wall. Cover up those little seams so we can get it nice and dark up there for the kids. lugging in firewood is an important and critical thing that we have to do every couple of days. I could either be working, making money, and then paying the power company to, you know, for electricity to heat up our home, or I can be here and our payment is being able to spend time with our family and warm up things ourselves. So we're pretty much done with bringing wood in for today. I really want to show you this wood rack that we got. I've seen a lot of them online and they look good and everything, but we got one from Lee Valley and I got to tell you, it is probably the best one I've seen because it's adjustable and it can be adjusted to suit your needs. So come on into the dome and let me show you this thing. So this is our storage rack for our firewood. It doesn't look like much, but I'm telling you, this thing is the best thing I've seen. These are solid metal and they're about 4 feet high. And what's really cool about this rack is that underneath, you just cut a piece of 2x4 to whatever length you want and slide it through these bottom parts of the bracket. So you have a lot of height, but you can choose the length that you want. So what we did was just took an 8-foot 2x4, cut it in half, and voila. We have a 4-foot long rack, and actually looking at it, it's probably about 3 feet or 3.5 feet high. So if you're looking for a fantastic fire rack, I highly recommend this one, and not just because I own it. I've looked at a lot of fire racks, and I really like this one because of how adjustable it is and how durable it is as well. We don't keep our wood touching the stove. I've definitely seen before people stacking their wood so it's leaning right against their fireplace. That can cause a fire, potentially. There's potential for a fire there. That wood can get so hot that it bursts into flames, or maybe an ember or something. This is pretty darn close. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to say that this is perfect or anything, but I like this rack because you can get it nice and close, but we still have a decent little air spot between the fire and the wood. But it's close enough to get lots of heat. And sometimes what I'll do as well is I'll take our eco fan and I'll point it right at the wood. So it's just blowing all this heat right over the wood to help dry it out. So I'm in the dome right now and it's been about 16, 17 hours since we last charged the batteries. So I walked in here and I turned the light on. You see this? And there's nothing happening. So the batteries are finally dead. It took about, like I said, 17 hours for them to die. So we're gonna go test this out, make sure it works. So really all we should have to do now is go out and pull the cord on the generator and the battery should start charging and we should have power back into the dome. So let's go pull that cord and fingers crossed everything works good. So let's go. So we're in the dome, generator's going, so we should be able to turn on these lights. Okay, so lights are working. Now if we come back here to our solar setup, I'll turn the light on here. So we got green lights on both the batteries. And just like Gable was explaining, when we look at the inverter here, you can see that the little battery, it says it's charging. And there's also a green blinking light under the charge. So that's great. Everything seems to be working awesome. Well, everyone, that's this week's video. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you again next Sunday. Ciao for now.